Tonight, I'm going to try not having the headphones on and just doing it without the headphones. I'm going to talk about something that another guy that I follow that I really look up to or uh, value is Dave Soltera. Um, he had touched base in a video recently where he had said it was a short, maybe it was a chop up from a long form, but he had said something about getting to do things, instead of saying getting to do them instead of saying I have to do them. And that's actually something that I've always preached. I preached it to my kids is try to look at things differently, as not like we have to do this or we have to go to work or we have to go to school. Like, look at it like you get to go to school, you get to go to work, you get to do these things, because in a lot of instances there's people that don't get to do them. So, and there's a lot of things that we unfortunately have to do that we don't like to do. But there's people that don't have that option. So it's just a positive way to look through the things that you have to do as things that you get to do. So you're fortunate, you could be a lot worse off and not able to do those things that you have to do. Another thing I wanted to talk about is or point out is manifesting. I'm starting to become a more firm believer in manifesting the things that I want for myself. Um, as far as stuff like this, doing YouTube, doing whatever, I'm trying to learn to manifest those things, like talk about them like they exist or they're coming. um the more life you bring them, the more they will come to life. So that's just a way that I'm starting to look at things, instead of just always, you know kicking the dust and being like, well, I'd really like to do this one day, or hopefully this will happen, or maybe it'll happen. No, I'm just going to start. I'm trying to work on telling myself that it's going to happen, or when it happens, not if, but when. Hey, do me a favor, if you're liking what you saw so far up to this point. If you've watched this long, obviously you do like it. Give me a thumbs up. I have a tendency to forget. Sometimes I'll watch a video, and if they don't remind me, I like to pride myself on always liking everybody's videos if I enjoy it. Sometimes if they don't remind me, I actually forget. So hit that button. I feel like all these years being negative, or even if it wasn't so much that I was being negative, but just not being very optimistic, didn't help get me anywhere, didn't help bring me to where I wanted to be. So I don't know if you've ever heard, Tim McGraw has a song, "In My Next 30 Years." Well, I'm a little late. It wasn't when I hit 30 that I started thinking about this stuff. But I did start thinking about, what am I going to do in my next stint? Because this next stint is my last. Like, this is it. Like, once this is over, another 20, 30 years, 40 years tops. That's it. Like, if I didn't do it by then, it's never going to happen. So I'm trying to manifest things, look at them more positively, like the things that I get to do, not the things that I have to do. And that's about it. So, like I was saying earlier, not only does this positive energy that you're putting out into the universe come back to you, you can literally bring these things to life just by talking about them, just by assuming that they're already going to happen. You can actually bring life to them. If and I'm starting to be a firm believer in, if you don't do these things, if you don't affirm this stuff, if you don't talk about it and you don't manifest it, it's never going to come to life. Because that's what I spent the first half of my adult life doing, was just being that I don't want to say too pessimistic, but for lack of a better way to say it, yeah, too pessimistic and not optimistic enough to carry me. You know what I mean? So um, that's something I think you should do. Stop looking at things like, oh, I have to do this or whatever. You get to do it. start manifesting things, making them come to fruition. You know, if you don't, they're not going to. Um, just give yourself a much more positive outlook. And then another thing that I've started to realize over the last few years is surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals, like-minded people. And I know everybody's heard this. I know everybody's heard this phrase before, and I'm starting to really, and I heard it. I always just was like, yeah, 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 it makes sense. And then I didn't really actually do it. I'm starting to really believe that the more people you put around you that are into the things that you're into, interested in the things that you're interested in, the more likelihood is that you're going to get to that position. You're gonna do those things that you want to do. If you're into, let's just say, flying airplanes, like radio controlled airplanes, but all you do is hang around people that mow grass, well, that's probably what you're going to end up doing is you're either going to mow grass, or you're just going to not really do much, and you're just going to keep talking about flying planes to people that mow grass. So that's another thing that I think is a good step, is surround yourself with like-minded individuals, people who will support you. A good support system can carry you, and it's not so much a thing of, you're not leaning on those people for them to do it for you. It's not like that at all, and it can be if you're not putting in the work. But that's not what I mean. What I mean is, you surround yourself with people that are like-minded, and they're gonna want to support you and lift you up. Um, at least that's how I am. Every time I've been in a position at a job where I was the boss or a supervisor, I was never afraid to do any of the dirty work that I would make somebody else do. So I always would do whatever they were doing too. I mean, yeah, I was the boss or, supervisor, so I didn't have to do all of it. I had to do oversee a few things, but I kept myself in their position. I was that way when I was a dispatcher. All the drivers loved me because I kept myself close to the driver's seat. I didn't get too far away or too far on the other side of the fence for them, and they were still able to connect with me, and they appreciated that. When I left that job, I heard about it for years afterwards because I kept in contact with a lot of them. And I heard about it for years that they wish I'd never left, that they'd never had, whatever. And I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. I'm just saying, keep yourself surrounded by the people that you want to support and the people that are into the things that you're into, and you support each other. And that's just a good way to go about it. And this is another topic that kind of goes along with all of this. The naysayers, do not ignore them. And I know that sounds bad, right? The thing is if you don't ignore them, and rather you soak up what they're trying to do, turn that into fuel to fight back against them. You can use that as your ammo, your metaphorical ammo, to fight back and show them and prove them wrong, and let them know that no, I can do what I'm doing. And there's gonna be people that are gonna try to pull you down. Like, there's always people that, whether they're as far as success goes, lower than you or higher than you or the same level, um there's definitely people out there that they're not happy if you're happy, and they want to tear you down. Again, don't ignore those people. Absorb what they're doing and push it back out and use it as fuel against them. Pretty much touch base on everything that I was feeling, everything that I wanted to talk about, and that's what I do when I get a thought. If I'm not near my computer and I'm not near my studio and able to put it to a video right away, I will write it down and get to it as quickly as possible. The only drawback to that is it would be nice if you could get to something right when you have the idea, because that's when your passion and your energy about that subject is highest. The longer you wait, the more that energy starts to dwindle a little, and you can still do the video, you can still talk about the topic, but you're not going to be as pumped unless you like really start melting yourself back into that frame of mind and get right back into that same passionate feeling that you were in when you first had that thought. So I try to do these things as quickly as possible. And but like I said, that's about all I've got for this tonight. And I appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate the subscribers. I've got last I looked, it was 110. I'm trying not to make that a focus. Um, it does help in growing a channel, so I'm going to keep checking it once in a while. But I don't want to become absorbed with numbers. I want to do what I'm passionate about, and that's this stuff that I do. So I appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't done it already, please subscribe. That's a huge one too. So that's all I've got, and I will see you in the next video.